Hey guys, I'm gonna show you how to make this gorgeous black quartz in 4 simple steps. Stay tuned and enjoy the video. All right, so we prepped our sample board by painting it with 2 coats of the Stone Coat Countertop black undercoat. You can use any kind of black paint that you want, but if you do use a latex, make sure that you wait at least 24 hours before you go to the next step. All right, so after the black, we sprayed 2 different colors of a silver. We've used a dark steel by Rust-Oleum, and then we used a metallic finish, which is just called chrome. Any of the colors, any undertone that you want to use will work. We just chose 2 different ones of the silver. All right, now what we're gonna do is come in and pour what I'm gonna call I guess a grease coat or a skim coat. And the only thing this is for is to hold the mica powder, the mica flakes that we're fixing to put on the surface. So you don't need much at all. I think I want a little less than 1 ounce per square foot on this, but I'm gonna do just a little bit at a time. I'm using a Bondo spreader. You can use a popsicle stick. You can use a Bondo spreader. It doesn't matter. Now you wanna make sure that your spray paint is dry before you do this, because you don't wanna smear the spray paint. I wanna pull it very tight, meaning I want it to be very thin, because I don't want it to take a long time for the epoxy to set up and be ready for the next stage. So actually you could probably get away with doing 1/2 ounce per square foot. All right, you can see I'm not too worried about this being perfect. All I need this to act like is glue. All right, the skim coat is down. It's very thin. Now I'm gonna start adding some bling. These are our silver mica flakes available on our website, and we have a whole array of colors. So you're not just stuck with doing this in silver. You can do this in golds and bronze, just about anything that you want to do it in. All right, so I'm just gonna take my flakes and I'm gonna come up nice and high, and I'm just gonna start sprinkling them over the top. Now it's gonna be up to you of how much you want these flakes to play a part of your finish. If you want them to be really thick and really jump through the next layer of epoxy that we're gonna do, then you'll add a little bit more. If you want it to just be a hint, then just add a few. And then on our side, you can just kind of take your hands and tap it to get it on the side. Just make sure on the corners that you don't have any big pieces that are sticking up, okay? You want your corners to be nice and smooth. All right, we're coming in with our regular Stone Coat Countertop Epoxy. I'm gonna be mixing up 3 ounces per square foot. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. And the product we use is Stone Coat Countertop. In my opinion, it's one of the best epoxies on the market. It's very durable, high heat resistance, high scratch resistance, and has a ton of UVA protection. Now you can either choose to hand mix this, or if you're lazy, you can use your drill. All right, so I've split up my epoxy. I know in the recipe that I want to have a little more black and a little more clear, and that'll make more sense to you in just a minute. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna come in with 2 different mica powders. One's gonna be our chrome dust, and the other is gonna be black metallic. Now, I am gonna add just a tiny bit of our epoxy dispersion fluid. And when I say a tiny bit, probably less than 1/2 a capful. And all this is gonna do is help my mica powders dissolve really well. Makes it easier to stir. All right, so this is our chrome dust. Now, if you don't have the dispersion fluid, you can make a slurry before you pour your epoxy in the cup by adding your dust or your mica powder, and a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, make a paste, and then put your epoxy in. It'll do just about the same thing. All right. That was our chrome dust. Now we're going to come in with our black metallic. This is also available on our website. Substitutions, if you don't have these colors, could be silver, our titanium, our pewter mica powders will give you similar results. All right, now for our black, we're just going to come in with the Alumilite black opaque dye, and I want to make sure that I tint that epoxy opaquely, meaning I don't want to be able to see through it. And then for the clear, what I'm going to do is come in with our fine silver. This is available on our website. Our black glitter, and then the also famous diamond dust. All right, so when I mixed up my diamond dust and my glitters, I want it to be fairly dense. All right, let's go make some magic. It's been sitting about 25 or 30 minutes, and like I said, the skim coat is only acting like a glue to kind of keep our mica powder or our mica flakes in place. All right, so I'm gonna start layering. I'm gonna start off with my black first, and I'm randomly putting it on the surface. Now, I don't want to cover up my areas of spray paint too much with the black dye because I want that to kind of pop through my finish. Now, I'm also leaving a little bit of the material in my cup that we're going to use a little bit later. All right, now I'm going to come in with the black metallic mica powder, and I'm going to just randomly pour it as well, being a little careful not to do too much of that opaque over my spray painted areas. I'm going to also leave just a tiny bit in the cup for later. Now I'm coming in with my chrome, excuse me, my chrome dust, and I'm going to leave a little bit in the cup. All right, now comes the fun part. Our clear mixture. Now, this is where you need to decide. A lot of these finishes have really large pockets of very dense crystals. So you need to decide, do you want that? Do you want big pockets of your diamond dust, or do you want it to just kind of meld through the piece? I like to have big pockets, so I'm going to put fairly large areas. And then over the black, I come very, very tiny. You can see my lines are very thin. When I come back over the clear, I'm sorry, the spray painted areas, I put a little bit bigger sections, so I have big pockets of this diamond dust. And then also leave a little bit in the cup. All right, now that we have a hot mess, we're gonna torch. The reason I torched is just gonna make it a little bit easier to meld. All right, now this is where it gets super important. Use a Bondo spreader and barely hold that Bondo spreader. If you grab it with your whole hand, you're gonna be moving too much of that product. I want this Bondo spreader to almost skip across the surface so that you're just kind of very lightly bringing all those colors together. It's super important that you don't over meld this because this finish is going to continue to move. And if we over meld it at our first step, by the end of the day, we're gonna have one big hot mess. All right, so let's get going. So very lightly, you can see I'm really barely melding that. You just wanna make sure that you get all of that surface tension out, that you're covering your board 100%. Also, if you'll notice, I'm doing different directions of the Bondo spreader, and I'm not going over one area more than once or twice. If you over meld, you're gonna get one color and you're gonna lose the depth. Now I can go back, if I have a little bit of surface tension, I can go back and fix that here in just a minute. I don't wanna try to fix too much at one time. You can see those big areas of the diamond dust, leaving big pockets. I love that. All right, that is gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Now I can come back, kind of tap wherever I see I may have some surface tension and help that epoxy close up those areas. Now this is what I really want you to pay close attention to. Can you see the designs that my Bondo spreader made? See these cool little designs? That's what I'm going for. I love that. Also, there's some areas here that I didn't hit with my spreader, and I love it. It's a big chunk of color, and you'll see that in natural quartz. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I love, 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 love this. Okay, guys, so what I'm gonna do now, I don't wanna add a lot of heat to this. The more heat I add, the more it's gonna move. So I'm gonna hit it very, very softly with heat just to pop some surface bubbles, and then we're gonna let this set. Now, what I do wanna do is come in with my clear, a little bit of my clear, and I wanna address those edges. I can just tap those edges out. You could also do this with another color if you had some left. I just had quite a bit of the clear left, so I'm just coming over there. Be real careful when you tap, just in case your skim coat that we did earlier is not 100% dry and you don't want those mica flakes to come off. All right, I'm gonna let this set up for about 20 or 30 minutes. Let the epoxy start to gel up just a bit, quit moving, and we're gonna come and add some accents. Okay, it's been sitting about 45 minutes. It's kind of cool in here. It's really kind of stopped moving, or slowed down, I would say. It's not completely stopped. But now we're gonna add a few accents. Now guys, this could be a finish all on its own, but we're gonna go to the next step. Imagine that. All right, so remember we left some epoxy in our cups. So now we're gonna take that epoxy and we're gonna add some distinct accent lines. Now remember, you don't have to do this, but I love fracture lines over the top. So I'm gonna come in here and I'm just gonna start running these lines all over the top in a very organic, you can do as little or as much as you want. That was our black. I really like the black. This is gonna be the black metallic powder. Now, if you were to do this immediately after we poured and we did our design, these lines, because the epoxy would be so fresh, these lines would actually kind of soften and be very, very faint. Now, if you're going for that look, you don't have to wait 45 minutes like we did. Waiting longer than doing this is gonna make those fracture lines be a little bit more distinct. All right, now here's my favorite thing to do. Come back in with some leftover diamond dust in the clear and do the same thing. I love those little veins, tiny little veins of the diamond dust. And because I'm going really quickly, it's just laying them down very, very softly, and you really barely see it. Oh, this is gorgeous. Love, 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 love this. Now this could also be a finish all on its own, but we're gonna go one more step. Remember guys, you can stop wherever you want. I'm just continuing to go to show you guys more options. All right, so now I'm gonna come in with silver mica powder mixed with isopropyl alcohol. I've mixed half a bag, which is about 1/4 of an ounce to 8 ounces of the isopropyl alcohol. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna put some in my hand because I want a little bit bigger drops, and I'm just gonna very lightly add those drops. Then I'm gonna come back, have my sprayer set at about a medium mist, and very lightly, I'm gonna barely pull the trigger, and I'm gonna go over to get a little bit more on the surface. Now be super careful guys. If you put too much alcohol on your surface, all of this beautiful design is going to get very blurry and it's gonna run off. So really be careful when you're doing this that you don't get too much on. Now you'll also notice when you hit those fracture lines with your alcohol, how it causes some really cool organic movement. All right, what do y'all think? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna let this set up and cure, then we're gonna do some flyovers so that you guys know what it looks like when it's stopped moving. All right, so you are gonna notice that your surface is not gonna be 100% smooth because you have mica flakes, and those mica flakes sometimes don't lay completely flat. They may lay at an angle. You may see some of those mica flakes kind of poke up through the surface. I'm not worried about that a bit. What's gonna happen is when we get ready to flood coat this, we'll sand it down lightly, and whatever little high areas that we have is going to be covered up by our flood coat. So we will flood coat this. We will flood coat it with clear, regular epoxy, the same epoxy that I used here, and I'm probably gonna put a little bit of diamond dust in there just to give it the next level of bling. If you're interested in how to do a flood coat, I'll link a video that we did in the description of this video. All right, guys, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below, what would you do to this piece? Would you add different colors, maybe different mica colors? Would you have gone the extra steps by adding the fracture lines? Let me know. All right, guys, how'd I do? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and that way every time we shoot a video or we go live, you'll get a notification. All of these products can be found on our website, RK3designs.com. Sign up for our newsletter, guys. That's super important because we will send you weekly special promo codes for our products and also our classes. All right, guys, until next time, remember, don't be scared, move forward, and be creative.